Welcome to Encounter Israel, Eylah Valley, the battle site of David against Goliath. We are here in the Eylah Valley. On my left side, over there, it goes over to the hills which lead to a place called She'araim, which might have been the place where the royal army under King Shaul was encamped. The Eylah Valley behind me, and now to my right side, the hill of Azekah, Tel Azekah, and the ridge that goes along with it on the western side of the Eylah Valley. And we are standing here right in between Azekah and the hills to the east in the Eylah Valley. The Plishtim on one side, the Israelites on the other side. On the larger map we can see over here, I marked the Eylah Valley, the blue stream here, and two small dots here, Azekah to the right westward, and the Israelite positions to the left eastwards. It is over here where the Plishtim tried to prevent the new king of Israel, Shaul, to assert his power and reign in the Plishtim. And it is over here where David and Goliath met. These two men who were descendants of sisters. David, the descendant of Ruth, and Goliath, the descendant of Orpah. This was not just only a battle between two nations, between what you could call two distant cousins. This was a battle between two sets of belief, between the multi-theists, the Plishtim who believed into whatever they wanted to, and Am Yisrael that believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Thanks to this battle, David, who knocked out Goliath right here in the Eylah Valley, he earned himself to become the son-in-law of King Shaul, the husband of Michal bat Shaul. The verse says in the book of Samuel, Sefer Shmuel, Perek, chapter 17, Vayasfu Plishtim et machaneim lamilchama. The Plishtim gathered their camp together to battle. Vayasfu socha asher lehuda, and they encamped in a place called Socha, which would be behind us in the tribal territory of Judah. Vayachanu ben Socha uben Azekah be'efes damim, and they encamped between Socha, which is across me, and Socha be'efes damim in the Eylah Valley. Rashi says efes damim sham afsud meim shel Yisrael, that over here in this place Jewish blood stopped being hefker to the Plishtim because of the tremendous victory. And Efes Damim, Efes means to stop, zero, right? Damim is blood. And Shaul and the men of Israel were gathered together, and they encamped by the valley of Eylah, and set the battle in array against the Plishtim. And the Plishtim stood on a mountain on one side, on this ridge here, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side, which would be more towards my left. And there was a valley between them, and that's where we are right now. And there went out a champion out of the camps of the Plishtim, named Goliath of Gath. He came from the city of Gath, which is further west on the other side of Azekah. Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span, and he had a helmet of brass up on his head. And he was armed with a body of armor of scale, and the weight of the body of armor was 5,000 shekel of brass. And he had greaves of brass up on his legs, and a javelin of brass between his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his spearhead weighed 600 shekel of iron. And the shield bearer went before him. And he stood and cried to the armies of Israel, and said to them, Why are you come out to set your battle in array? Am I not a Plishti, and you are the servants of Shaul? Choose a man for yourselves, and let him come down to me. Down to me, from the lower hills over there to the valley. Let him come down to me, and if he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall you be our servants and serve us. And the Plishtim said this, I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together.